Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunorahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Welcome back to the Blissful Athlete, everybody. Hope you are enjoying your weekend thus far. It is 10:07 here on the West Coast in Los Angeles. And I got a real nice video for y'all today. I've been getting one question a lot, and it's mainly coming from male bodies from India asking me, how do I get a body like you? What do I need to do? And so in today's video, I'm going to give you an exact breakdown of the workout routine that whether you're male or female, you can follow. They're basic workouts that you can incorporate into your yoga practice to work your body, build a heavy yogic body, as my guru is encouraging us to do so. And the way you will be doing this is with weight resistance training. So we're going to dive into that today. I also got a couple other questions. One, I'm not specifically targeting men today for any particular reason, but another question that's been coming up a lot lately is some questions about nofap, some techniques and support for people that are trying to practice the lifestyle of celibacy or Brahmacharya, but maybe they're struggling with it a little bit. And then we're going to open it up to some Q&A as per usual. So anything that you got for me today, feel free to ask away and I'll get to those as quickly as I can. But as usual, I really try and get to the questions that are most prominent. And this is definitely one of those. So if you're somebody, again, that is interested in developing a strong body, starting to go to the gym, and maybe you are going to the gym a bit, but you're kind of wandering around and not sure what to do exactly, then this video is definitely going to help you with that. So I promise you, I'm giving you the goods right now for this one. Also, where was I going to go with that? Some diet tips. I was going to throw in some diet tips with everything and how you should be approaching your gym workouts as well. And so without further ado, actually, I also want to mention that next week I'm going to be doing an interview with another athlete, a bodybuilder. He's Conscious Muscle on Instagram. He's got a really big following, and he's a bodybuilder. And so I'm not going to dive too much into depth with the workout routine today, but if you have any questions that you'd like me to ask a bodybuilder in particular in an interview that I'm going to do with him next week, then you could also let me know those and maybe send me a question in one of my DMs, either on Instagram or Facebook as well. A lot of you know I'm a former professional ice hockey player. Bodybuilding isn't a component of that. However, to be a hockey player, you need to have, I really do believe, like a yogic body. You need to have power. You need to have stamina, flexibility, endurance, agility. You're not working just slow muscle twitch fibers, but fast muscle twitch fibers. So you're incorporating all these different training modalities, balance, focus. Everything is involved when you're playing ice hockey, and there's really no way around not having a yogic body. And so, after a 25-year career of ice hockey, almost 25 years, I learned a lot along the way. And, it just, I think, helped beautifully transition me into the yoga acharya lifestyle. So we can jump into everything right away. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I promise you'll get some good content moving forward. And as always, guys, leave comments throughout, and I'll be glad to answer those as best I can. So the first thing I'm going to just introduce you guys to is this is actually my workout routine that I'm doing right now. So I'm sticking to two different workouts. So 2 different workout routines, and they're a full body split. So it means I'm working my upper body and I'm working my lower body all in one workout. And then what I do is I take either 1 day or 2 days rest in between, and then I do a second workout. So I only have workout 1 and workout 2. When I'm done workout 1, I do workout 2. When I'm done workout 2, you guessed it, I do workout 1. Okay. And I always make sure that I have no more than a 2-day break in between. So I'm resting at least once, or I'm resting at least 1 day, and I'm resting at least 2 days, but I'm not resting 3 days or more. So that means you got to be able to first and foremost commit. If you're wanting to learn how to really develop some strength in your body, you have to first commit to going to the gym at least once every 3 days. And if you're not willing to do that, then don't even bother watching. You could shut this down right now. You don't need to learn anything else because it's just going to be useless for you. You have to be consistent. That's the first thing that you need to know is, man, you got to show up to the gym consistently. Just like you need to show up onto your yoga mat every day if you really want to see progression. The same thing goes for if you're wanting to develop a strong physical body. It's just nothing but going to the gym and failing over and over and over and over again for years. And then you'll start to see that your body kind of develops some size and strength, and you'll start to really notice a huge difference. And that being said, you will notice a difference in a short period of time. Within just, I would say a few weeks, you'll notice how much better you feel just from developing some strength. You won't notice a difference physically with your physical 2 eyes, but you'll feel it. And so again, all you're going to be doing is workout A or workout 1 and workout 2, and you're going to bounce between the 2. And you could do this literally, I would say you could do this for 6 months. Now, a lot of people will talk about, you might reach a peak point where, or a plateau where your body isn't ready, or it's learned the routine in a sense, but that's fine. Especially if you're brand new to working out, nothing to worry about at all. In this video, I'm not going to break down the details of each exercise. You can go to Google or YouTube and type in how to do the exercise and watch that yourself. But I will give you the exact breakdown of what I do and what I really, really do recommend for other yogis. Any yogi should be doing strength resistance training, in my opinion. And if you're not, you're missing out on one key component of developing a yogic body, which is power. Okay. And of course, you could be doing calisthenics or body weight training, body weight yoga asanas only to develop strength. But in my opinion, it's not, that alone isn't enough to strengthen the nervous system, to really test your nervous system, which in turn, if you strengthen your nervous system through strength resistance training, you're going to be able to experience higher levels of Kundalini Shakti. I can tell you this from my experience. You'll experience more health. You'll experience more bliss. This is all just from my own Sakshi Pramana, my own experience. But I can guarantee if you do these workouts consistently, you're going to get a ton of benefits. So before we dive into the Q&A right now, I'll just quickly, I'm going to list out each exercise. If you don't get it down right now, not to worry. After I post this video, I'll put it in the description below. And again, you can just go to YouTube and type in how to do this exercise if you don't already have an understanding of how to perform it. So in the first workout, I'm always hitting my king exercises, my big lifts right away. And in the first workout, that is the bench press and deadlift. Now, these are 2 exercises that can be done in a lot of different ways. So a bench press can be done with a barbell, or it can be done with dumbbells. I prefer right now to be doing dumbbells because I actually have an AC joint issue with my shoulder. And for whatever reason, with the barbell, it's bothering me. But with dumbbells, I'm able to get around it. It's not affecting me too much. So again, each individual, you're going to find things that work for you and that don't work for you. And this is really a blanket workout. But if you have certain injuries with certain body parts, you're going to have to work around it. Maybe, for instance, if you're like me, I'm actually not even doing a flat bench. I'm doing an incline bench because I found the flat bench is really bothering my AC joint. So for the time being, I'm only doing the incline bench press. Okay. But ultimately, I'm hitting my chest with a couple workouts or a couple different exercises each week. And that's the first exercise that I go with. So that's the bench press, and that can be barbell or dumbbell. The next exercise is a deadlift. Now, deadlift it's basically your heaviest lift. You're going to demand the most out of your entire body. You're going to have to recruit the most energy from your muscles. Your entire body has to be engaged when you're performing a deadlift. It's a full body exercise. And when you do the deadlift, you really, really, really need to make sure you have good form. I can't stress that enough, having good form. So if you've never done a deadlift before, I'd recommend even hiring a personal coach, a personal trainer for a couple sessions just to get the technique down. And with every exercise that I'm going to talk about today, always start really light. Okay. Always start really light. You should be doing 12 to 15 repetitions for each exercise for 3 to 4 sets. Okay. With nice light weight. And if you're feeling like you're still not good with form and everything, you can go up to 20 repetitions. But I really just recommend everybody focusing on technique. So study the routine or study the exercise on YouTube, etc., before you go to the gym, or even hiring a personal trainer again. Okay. So these first two exercises I kind of do on their own. I don't do it with anything else. I'll take some rest in between because they demand a lot of energy. They demand a lot of force. And so taking a good amount of rest in between is helpful. And you can really take as much time as you need. I'm not a stickler on how much time you have in between certain reps on these big king exercises. Make sure you're fully recovered is what I always suggest. But after that, what I encourage people to do is either trisets or bisets. Not biceps, bisets, okay? Or trisets. And what I mean by trisets is you go from one exercise to another exercise to another exercise, and then you go back through those 3 exercises again. When you do a triset, it's almost like a little mini circuit training routine, but you're not having a really long gap in between. Like there's circuit trainings where you're doing 15 different exercises all the way around. But when you do a triset, you are challenging your muscles still. In this way, you're not taking a long break in between each exercise. So for instance, the next exercise, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th exercise of this routine is pull-ups, dips, and single leg Romanian deadlifts or single leg RDLs. So pull-ups, for instance, you're pulling up your body. Then once you're done that exercise, right away you go to body weight dips, which is working your triceps rather than biceps. And then after that, you do what's called a Romanian deadlift, which is, if you've ever seen me do Virabhadrasana on top of the Shiva Stamba pole, it's that where you're on one foot and you're leaning forward and hands out. Romanian deadlift is very similar to that, a similar pattern, working the hamstrings. So the idea behind this is that you can go from one exercise to another exercise to another exercise and not worry about compromising one muscle group because it wasn't recovered fully. Because again, pull-ups, you're working your biceps. Dips, you're working your triceps. Romanian deadlifts, you're working your hamstrings. So you can really become more efficient with your workout during this part of the routine. Now, again, as I said, with the bench press and the deadlift, I just do those on their own. And then after that, I'll jump into a triset, which is these 3 exercises, okay? And again, I'm going for either 3 sets or 4 sets between 12 and 15 reps. That's what I would recommend for anybody else, okay? After that triset, I do one more triset, okay? And this triset is shoulder stand push-ups. So this is something where you're going to have to learn about what a regression is. So let's say you can't do a handstand. And what do if you can't do a handstand on your own, but you can hold yourself up? Well, you use a wall. You do the handstand up against a wall. But let's say you need to do a push-up from that position and you can't do a push-up from a handstand position, then what do? You do what's called a regression. So you would put your feet on, let's say, a stool, and then you'd be in a handstand position working that way. But even still, that might be a challenge for some people. And so that's when I would suggest even going to another regression, which could be something like Gajasana, okay, where it's the downward dog position, but you're scooping yourself down continuously. That is a regression as well for these handstand push-ups or the shoulder stand push-ups. But this is going to develop your shoulder strength. The next exercise is what's called face pulls. Okay, so cable face pulls. And what it is basically you're going to have a rope and you're attached to a cable machine and you pull the rope to your face and you squeeze your upper back. Okay, and in doing this, you're working on not only the lats, the backs of the muscles, the traps, but more importantly for me in particular, I'm doing this because it helps with posture. So if you're one of those people that is at a desk all day and you're typing and you're leaning forward, I really, really recommend this workout, the face pull, because it's going to strengthen the muscles that are going to keep your back pulled and your spine nice and aligned. Okay, so those are that's the second exercise. Then the third one is what's called a drag curl. So a drag curl is similar to a bicep curl where you're just standing there doing a bicep curl. You know, I think everybody knows what a bicep curl is. But drag curls engage the bicep for a longer period of time. What you'll find with people, and I can even say from my own experience, is like my bicep muscle, if you notice right at the tip here, it's not as high. If you notice right here, it's not as high as that point. Now, of course, obviously at some point you're going to have to say that, yeah, it's going to dip off. But mine actually, my peak dips off a little bit early. Now, the reason for that is because I'm not actually pulling, or it's because the bicep curl. When you're pulling the bicep, when you're doing a curl and the weight's coming up, the resistance of the weight, you can't see my whole arm. Maybe I'll stand up for this one. But the resistance of the weight from this point, when I'm here, it's going to be a little bit like different from the resistance from when you're like up here, for instance. So that's why I recommend what's called a drag curl, which is where you're going to slide your elbow back and you're going to still pull it up in this way. So it just engages your bicep in a little bit of a different way. And again, you can go into YouTube and type each one of these exercises. And again, you don't need to note all these down if you have not yet done so. I'll put them in the description below after I post this video. So that's the main part of the routine though. That's it. I do 2 main core lifts in workout 1 with what's known as 2 trisets. So in total, 8 exercises. That could take you anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes, depending on how you're hustling through the workout. And then, of course, there's always optional things. Like you can always be incorporating different supplementary training exercises. For instance, like let's say you want to work on an injury that you're recovering from, you can incorporate that type of stuff as well. But as a whole, to develop strength, size, build a heavy yogic body, like my guru is really encouraging all of his devotees and disciples to do, these are exercises that you don't really get on the mat, but are really, really powerful in strengthening the nervous system, strengthening the entire body. Okay, so I recommend not just this workout, but the second workout as well. And I'll dive into that in 1 second. All right. So the workout number 2, and again, after this workout, you can take a day break and then come to the gym again. Or you could take 2 days of rest in between and then go to the gym after that. All right. So that's entirely up to you, but you need consistency. You need to show up every day. But the second workout, this is an incline bench press. So as I said, I'm actually already doing an incline bench press because my shoulder is bugging me, my AC joint's bugging me, and I can't do a flat bench. But if you were following this routine, the first day was a flat bench routine. The second workout is an incline bench. So you're doing an incline press. And again, you can go to YouTube and check these out as well. And this one is a dumbbell though. So the first day was flat bench barbell. The second day is incline dumbbell. After that exercise, so I can just do that exercise on its own. It's not a tricep or anything like that. The next exercise is what's known as a rear foot elevated split squat. I am a big believer in not doing back squats because from my experience and from fellow athletes that I've trained with throughout the years, everybody's spine is different. And unless you have the perfect alignment, and this might be different for each individual, there's a good chance that you can cause major damage to your lumbar spine, your thoracic spine, and ultimately it can just tweak out your whole body. You'll notice a pinched nerve in various different places, especially as you progressively overload and add more and more weight to your training. So I really, really recommend people, especially beginners, not do weighted, loaded back squats with a barbell. In place of that, I encourage people to do what's called a rear foot elevated split squat. You can go to YouTube, you can check that out. There's various different ways of performing them, but this is a really good, powerful leg exercise as well, which really does emphasize the quads and the glutes also. Okay, so you're not going to miss out on not performing your back squat. If you are somebody that's already doing it, you can definitely incorporate that. And I should say, if you're doing a workout routine already, you might say, you know what, this whole routine, let's scrap it. Or maybe you want to work in a few of the exercises that I'm talking about. But ultimately, the first two exercises of this routine are the dumbbell incline bench press and the rear foot elevated split squat, okay? After that, the next tricep is the first exercise is a leg press. So you can use a machine for this. It's another very powerful, heavy workout for the legs. Very simple. You could do a single leg or double leg with this. After that, the next exercise is a cable row. So almost like, imagine like you're a rower rowing on a boat, one of those Olympic rowers, you know what I mean? That's really going to develop your back. You're going to have a nice wide back from this. It'll make it nice and thick, or if you're a female, it can make it nice and toned. I should say it depends on the number of reps you do and number of sets, how much volume you're getting into your workout. But as recommended with the first workout, all of your exercises target between 12 and 15 repetitions to really just start yourself off. And just as a rule of thumb, 12 or 15 is always a very good place to start, okay? And then the third exercise of this first tricep is the dumbbell lateral raise. So you're just going to have a couple dumbbells and you're going to lift up side continuously. Dumbbell lateral raise, again, you can check that out as well. So after that, that's the first tricep. And then the second tricep of this workout and the last tricep of this workout is the first thing you're going to be doing is a back extension. It's a very simple, standard exercise, followed by a tricep pull down, followed by a high to low chest cable fly. So a high to low chest cable fly, you're going to need a cable machine. And I should mention with all of this, you will need a gym membership or at least a gym nearby. All this equipment is necessary, I would say. 1 second though. But at the end of that routine, again, optional exercise that you can mix in. Now, what you don't get with these two workout routines is core. You're not getting any ab workouts with these two routines. That would be something that you can incorporate onto your off days. So the days in between when you're going to the gym, it could be something that you incorporate even right after your yoga practice. And this also does not include flexibility, and it's not a ton of balanced, focused exercises. So there is this type of workout, this type of system, this training system is strictly for developing muscle in ways that you cannot, in ways that you cannot when you're on the yoga mat. Now, that being said, this is a supplementary form of training and developing a yogic body in itself, because I am first and foremost somebody that is always going to say you should be doing yoga first. You should be, especially in my opinion, the Pratama Vinyasa Krama. It is by far the most advanced, most incredible yogic sequence I've ever come across. So I highly, highly, highly recommend performing the 108 asanas, at least on the days that you're not going to the gym. I know it can be a stretch for some people's schedule to get them to be doing yoga every day and then going to the gym on top of that, and then possibly doing some supplementary training as well. But without a doubt, you should be performing the Pratama Vinyasa Krama at least every day that you're not going to the gym. Not only is this going to help with recovery, but it's going to help balance the body in ways that you're not getting that at the gym. And that is through core strengthening. It is through performing certain bandhas. It is through performing certain visualizations. There's a lot of things that are incorporated into the Pratama Vinyasa Krama that you just don't get in the gym. And actually, there's scriptural references that say you shouldn't be performing yoga in a place where a lot of people are around. So like, you're technically to be working out in a gym in an environment that's really, like, let's say, toxic or full of that dark, heavy, masculine energy. Really, ideally, you should be training by yourself somewhere. But I mean, I know that's quite challenging for some of us to do. So we end up having to go to the gym. But ultimately, you really, really, really need to make sure that you're taking care of your own energy first and foremost, your own spiritual context, which is Pratama Vinyasa Krama, in my opinion. And so with that, this workout routine, workout 1 and workout 2, again, just to recap, you can do it every other day or 2 days gap in between. I'll put the list of exercises down below so you know exactly what the routines are, and you can go to YouTube and check out these videos. I know Warrior Yogini is asking, will you do a demo video? I think I could, but how should I say this? To not encourage procrastination, I would go to YouTube first and check it out, because I can't guarantee when I'll get these demo videos up. But let me think about that. I've never actually been one to like walk around and record myself in the gym. We did that the other day in one of the vlogs that I did, and it was an interesting experience to walk around and like record yourself in the gym. It's interesting. It's almost like ego fulfilling. Like, you have to really be like, no, this is not for my ego. I'm doing this to help people or rich people. But yes, I'll look into that. Warrior Yogini, thank you for asking that. So with that, I'll just check to see if there's any other questions specifically on. Okay, Willie's got a good question. Don't forget warm-up stuff like dynamic stretching, foam rolling, and lower weights as first sets. Yeah. So again, this is just strictly the workout routine that I gave. You should always never start a training program or a workout routine unless you're first sweating. Okay. The rule number 1 for me is, are you sweating? And it doesn't mean you need to be drenched, but is there perspiration? Once perspiration has happened, then you're ready to start doing some dynamic movements like Willie has suggested. Absolutely. And what I can do is I think I will actually want to post my own warm-up video for this, because my understanding of warm-up is a lot different from a lot of other people's understanding. But ultimately, making sure that you're just doing some light movements, get the body moving. You can honestly, you could even do Patanjali Dhyan, like just jumping around and shaking your body and loosening it all up, dancing, moving the body chaotically for 5 minutes. That itself could be a good enough warm-up. if you're starting with really light weights. But with that being said, I would either type in good warm-up routine for going to the gym, or what you could do is wait, and I'll post something for that too. Okay. So thanks for bringing that up, Willie. I appreciate that. Let's see. It looks like that's kind of it. Okay. Raku, thanks. I'm currently traveling. Could you share how one could modify these workouts with asanas? Yeah. Whenever you're traveling, it makes things more difficult, but that's when you really need to know about regression exercises. So for instance, if you don't have a bench press and or dumbbells with you, the biggest regression for that would be push-ups to work your chest muscles. Um, to do body weight exercises, and even with a lot of these exercises that I've chosen for this workout, I've chosen these exercises particularly because you can't get and activate the muscles in the same way as you would just with your body weight. So for instance, the cable rows, you can't engage your back in the same way at all. Like you're pulling up, depending on the strength of your back, you could be pulling up towards 150 pounds, for instance, let's say, and you're pulling and you're squeezing your back. You can't engage that muscle in any other way other than doing a cable row. So when you're traveling, that makes it a little bit more difficult. But you can incorporate other workout routines, and you can check some of those out. I've actually already done some on my channel that are strictly yoga asanas that are like actually much more intense workouts than what even I'm giving you today, and they're only body weights. So, or you can always try and check out and see if the hotel's got a decent gym and has some equipment that you can work around. But in a sense, as I said, this workout routine is really strictly for having for doing exercise that you can't do while you're on the mat. Okay, so let me scroll down, but it looks like that was kind of the questions. I'm not still playing ice hockey technical. Danny, you did miss the exercises if you just got in. But again, even if you just came in, I'll put the links down, or not the links, I will put all of the exercises down below with an exact routine, and you can follow it. And all you got to do is just really learn how to do the exercises. And that's simple. Go to YouTube, type proper form for bench press, something simple like that, and you can easily find that out. And then Warrior Yogini might have encouraged me to record myself in the gym as well. Okay, let's answer this question. Technical is also asking about diet, but Yavano said, I am a vegetarian. I can't build muscles from 2 years. I've surely become fit and healthy, but can't seem to build a body I like. I can't turn non-vegetarian for my protein needs. Can you suggest 2 cups of protein or 2 cups of black beans is 30 grams of protein? 30 grams of protein. So you can remove whatever chicken breast and you can incorporate black beans, and 100% you're getting equal amount of protein. Not only are you going to get equal amount, but it's going to digest better. You're going to get more micronutrients from the black beans, more antioxidants from the black beans. So we really have to snap out of this mindset that because I'm going to vegetarian, it's going to be harder. No, because you're going to vegetarian, your body is going to be healthier in every way. And if you haven't yet watched the Game Changers documentary on Netflix, it's just about a group of athletes that are all plant-based, and they literally prove scientifically taking blood tests and a lot of different interesting tests actually improve the benefits of being a plant-based versus being a meat eater. But for instance, If you're struggling with getting protein in, black beans are your friends. Lentils are your friends. Even oats. I have a really soupy oatmeal every morning. 1.5 cups of oatmeal is 21 grams of protein. Okay. Then you incorporate, like, let's say a pea protein complex shake. So like protein powder. And I should say, actually, and this is a good, I missed a couple things. After your workouts, you're going to want to get in something within your body within 90 minutes. Okay. If you don't get anything, and this is coming from this current logical understanding, not from the understanding that prana builds muscles and not protein, but currently from this consciousness, I am saying that you should be getting something into your system within 90 minutes after your workout, or else your workout was a waste. Okay. Your body will start to eat itself. It'll start to grab the nutrients that it needs to recover from within itself. But if you get something within you 90 minutes after your workout routine, then you're going to help out. Then you're going to refuel your body properly. But protein sources, there's honestly, tofu is a really simple source as well. You don't need to worry about, because it's a soy protein, just don't only have tofu and only have soy protein and you'll be fine. But really your best friends are beans. That could be kidney, black, pinto, all those types of beans. Lentils are a really good source as well. Again, things like oatmeal, you get protein in those. Quinoa is actually one of the only grains that has all the proteins in it that are necessary, all the essential amino acids. And so really just, you got to be aware that, yeah, I got to switch to beans. I got to switch to certain sources that you haven't been incorporating so much. And just be aware. So for instance, black beans on their own, black beans on their own are not a complete protein. So they don't have all of the essential amino acids, but if you just incorporate a little bit of white rice, then it is. So you could literally have black beans and rice every day. If you did 4 cups of beans mixed throughout your day, you would have all the protein you probably need. And again, this is a real rough estimate because I don't know your body's type or size. But as a rule of thumb, I always suggest to get 0.75 grams of protein per pound, just as a blanket rule of thumb. And everybody's body is going to be different. I don't want anybody attacking me saying, oh, you're way off. Bodybuilders for decades have been consuming way more protein than they need. Not only are they consuming more, but just because you put something into your body does not mean that you're going to assimilate it. How is your stomach? Is your stomach processing food? Is it able to break down foods? Right now, I'm on day, I think, 126 of a liquid diet. I blend everything I put into my system. The amount of energy that my body is saving because it doesn't need to break down the food in itself means that I don't need more calories than another person, because it takes calories to break down food, right? It takes energy to break down the food. Simultaneously, I know that because I'm only having liquids, my intestines, like my stomach, like my internal system is just so efficient. I feel so clean. I feel so pure because of that. So not only do I know that I'm taking less energy, but I know that I'm assimilating everything that I need. When I consume something, I'm getting all of the nutrients. Simultaneously, just because you're drinking fruit juice, for instance, and you're counting those calories, it does not also mean that you are getting those calories. You have millions of gut bacteria within you. And sometimes the foods and drinks that you consume, it is not either being consumed, it may be consumed by your gut bacteria, and thus your body does not get it, and therefore it does not count as a calorie. Or, for instance, something like fruit juice, if you blend fruit juice, so I don't recommend blending all of your fruit juices, because what happens is the fibers, it gets split into two different fibers. And just the process that happens, it actually gets absorbed by the liver quicker. Okay, so it's not healthy. It's not good to only, if you're doing a liquid diet, do not only drink fruit juice. It is not good to blend fruits because the fibers get split and it gets absorbed into your liver a little bit quicker. It's not healthy for you. Okay, so I know I kind of went a little bit off tangent there. The original question was just to have, or looking for some advice with what type of protein you should be consuming, or how you could get protein. Again, there's so many different sources, but the thing is, the reason why people struggle is because we have difficulties breaking our old patterns. You get used to having the same things, and when you don't find a solution and you're not actively looking for it, then that's when damage happens. And I know when I first transitioned to a plant-based diet, I did not do it right. So just do a little bit of more research on plant-based protein sources. And again, a quick Google search will give you that. Okay. Oh, yeah, Ovano, I see that you responded there, actually. Thanks for answering. I'm a vegetarian by birth all the way. What a blessing. What a blessing to be vegetarian from birth. I've seen game changers. They don't say I've seen game changers. They say we don't need 1 gram per pound of protein. Completely agree. Completely agree. That's why my rule of thumb is 0.75 grams. And that's incorporating a strength training program. If you're somebody that sits all day and does no strength training at all, and either you don't do yoga or you barely do yoga, you do not need to worry about even, I would say, 6.6 grams of protein. But again, I don't want anybody suing me for anything I'm saying in that sense. Everybody's unique, and everybody's own body needs to be assessed in a different way. Okay. It really does depend on not only your body weight, but what's your body fat percentage. So those types of things, you need to look at body mass index, etc. But just as a rule of thumb, if you're doing strength training, looking around 0.75 grams of protein. Okay, so I'm at 184 pounds right now. I shoot for around 150 grams. I actually target around 100 grams. And if I get the other 50, I'm like, cool. If not, I really don't care. But I'm going through a different process right now. This is we're talking about, just protein. But my guru has initiated me, and he said again and again and again, prana builds muscles, not protein. And this does make sense in a way, right? Because even if you consume protein, if you're not building muscle, etc., if you're not going to the gym, it just turns into fat. You can consume as much protein as you want, but it will turn into fat. So something else is involved there. There's another variable. That's the word I was looking for. There's another variable that's involved there. So I'm also incorporating things like harataki in the evening, ashwagandha, which is proven to increase testosterone as well and help with muscle recovery. There's a lot of different things that come into play here, but that's not what this video is about. This is specifically about what exercises. So we'll dive into that. I do plan on doing more content specifically about that, but I am working. I don't like talking about things unless I have my own experience on it. And so I am going through my own internal process of what does ashwagandha actually bring for me? I understand the logics and the science, but how is it working for me, especially while I'm going through this liquid diet process as well? I want to just acknowledge this comment, Kali. I noticed when I stopped eating meat, my aggression went down significantly. When I eventually had to start eating it again, I noticed a rise in aggression. Is that like a prana thing or what? Yeah, so this is entirely based off of biomemory. So for instance, you go to the gym let's say you're a cow. I always use this example. You're a cow, you go to a slaughterhouse, you're about to die. And when you are about to get slaughtered, You're like, just imagine like you're about to die. It's like, like all this fear overwhelms you, right? Complete and utter fear overwhelms you. That gets stored somewhere, even in cows, even in humans, even plants. That we all are not, actually, I shouldn't say plants, not plants. Forget I said plants. But cows, animals, human beings, we store information in our muscles, but also in through what's called biomemory. So you have muscle memory, biomemory. Your biomemory is where these emotional patterns are stored, like fear, stress, anger, sadness, etc. So when you consume an animal's flesh, not only is it dead meat, and you can look under a specific type of microscope and see like an apple is just bright and so like full of life energy, but a piece of dead meat is dark, it's dead, it's full of bacteria. You can see in a like just tangibly on a physical level, um, on a light level, I should say. But also, not only are you consuming this dead flesh, but it has patterns in it. It has not the stench of death, but like literally the information of fear embedded within it. So it definitely 100% has an impact in that way. Not only that, but when you're consuming meat, it's keeping life energy down. So you're locked down into the lust, the anger, the fear, the worry, these lower level chakras, these lower level energy centers. And so this is why humanity as a whole, we're stuck in these regions, this lust region, this fear region, because our energy centers are down there. We're operating mainly from these lower frequencies, these lower vibrations. So meat is a way of keeping us down there. So when you're consuming meat and you're going back and forth, the fact that you're able to notice that is really cool. All I would recommend is, it works for you. So go to the other side. Go to the plant-based. Um, yeah. So I'll just bring this up as well. As I mentioned, I am on day 100, I think 26 of a liquid diet, and the reason I'm doing this is because in the past, that was a few years, 2 years ago, maybe not even 2 years ago. But I talked about, I did a couple videos on prana versus protein, and I am very, very intrigued, and I believe that it's possible to not eat food and to not like walk around really skinny as well. I'm maybe breatharians already as well, but they tend to be very skinny. They tend to be looking like they're very aged. And to be honest, I I want to be a breatharian living off prana, but I want to be looking like pure health. And so the way I've been going through this process has been very steady, but I've been progressing. That's been my goal, is just be progressing. So I started with 5 different rounds of Nirahara Samyama. If you don't know what that is, I'll put a link in the description below, and I'll put it here right now. But if you go to befoodfree.org, that is a basic initiation into a liquidarian, basically. But it's not exactly translated to liquidarian, but it is living off of liquids. And it's a 21-day process where you get to eat on day 3, day 10, or day 7, and day 11, I believe. And so I did that for 5 times. Then after that, I did a 30-day fast, and which included just 10 days of only milk in the evening. And then I started this 100, I declared 108 days, but as I said, I'm on day 126. And so I just want to see how long I can keep going. I'm feeling good with it, etc. But I'm doing this all on the journey to live off of prana alone. And I believe this is something that is an innate ability within all human beings. And I'm just enjoying the self-exploration of that. With that, I'll actually tie into the next question that I got a little bit last week, which is the importance of keeping a Brahmacharya lifestyle, or what's become popularized as nofap. So if you don't know what nofap is, it's basically not masturbating or not entering into a sexual relationship with anybody. And this could be for both male or females. And there's a lot of different benefits from nofap. I just want to pull up one quote, not quote, but one pramana on, because everything we do here in Nithyananda Yoga, we always go to the source. We always go to the scriptures. In the Hatha Pradipika of Svatmarama, he says in verse 121, downward flow of the bindu leads to decay of the body, while its preservation leads to life and creates pleasant smell in the body. So long as bindu is retained in the body, there is no fear from death. Okay? So the downward flow of the bindu leads to decay of the body. Now, bindu is actually coming from the Sahasrara chakra, okay? But it can be released through the lower region. I think you can all understand what the lower region is. And so the goal, the yogic goal, and there's other pramanas that say if one were to be celibate for 12 years, that in itself would make them enlightened. Be celibate 12 years, you'll become enlightened. So the goal of, not the goal, but the process of yoga is awakening this Kundalini Shakti, keeping this energy within us, and constantly keeping it flowing through us. So when you think of semen, if you're releasing semen, you're literally releasing physical matter, which gives life, which it literally creates life, right? You put semen into another body, life can happen. That potent of an energy is what semen is. Now, what makes semen is actually what's called as bindu, which comes from the Sahasrara chakra. And so when you're performing the Pratama Vinyasa Krama, for instance, you might hear us speak about certain mudras, Kachari mudra, for instance. When you're lifting your tongue up and pushing it up against the roof of the mouth, I don't know if you can't see that, but I'm putting my tongue up against the roof of the mouth. The idea of this is to catch the bindu dripping down, the nectar of immortality dripping down from the Sahasrara chakra. So the purpose of that is to keep it from dripping down into the Agni, the digestive fire. So not only do you want to keep your energy above or not release it through ejaculation or sexual intercourse, but you want to keep it as high as you can, even above the Agni. Okay, so you want to keep it above as high as you can. The whole purpose is to keep Kundalini Shakti, all this energy flowing upwards, continuously having the prana vayu flowing through the body seamlessly. So nofap is extremely important when it comes to that. Now, I can say that I practiced this for 3 years on my own. I have not been doing that since I've been married. I've been trying, and I mean, it's a serious practice. That, like, if somebody says they're a tantric master, I would like to know how long they've been practicing it, which scriptures are they learning from, are they actually ejaculating? I would ask them all of these questions. Okay, so just be very aware if somebody is teaching relationship coaching in any way and teaching tantra in any way. One, they need to unless they're teaching that you don't ejaculate for male bodies, don't listen to them. Two, unless they're encouraging you to be Brahmacharya anyways, don't listen to them. And I'll keep it at two. But you should first and foremost be always thinking Brahmacharya, keeping the energy within you, keeping the bindu within you. And there's a lot of different techniques for the guys out there, or the females out there that are interested in a very simple technique to reduce lust. All you got to do is drink a simple tea, and it is called neem tea. Okay, the neem tea it has a tremendous amount of benefits to it. It is good for the liver, as I was speaking on earlier. It's good for the digestive system. It's good for your eyes. It's good for so many different parts of your body. One of these benefits is it reduces the lust within you. Okay. So if all you got to do is really, and this is a part of the Pratama Vinyasa or the Nithyananda yoga routine, which is after yoga, you're drinking neem tea. Very simple. Just, and you can find neem tea in a lot of different places. Drink one little, it doesn't need to be a full cup. I would say a half cup of neem tea a day. And that will help you if you are struggling with maintaining nofap, or you're just wanting to help keep the life energy flowing through you. 100%. This is a practice that's been a part of Ayurveda and a part of the yogic philosophy in general for thousands of years because of its ability to support those in Brahmacharya. Okay. So I just wanted to talk about that today because I've been getting a lot of questions. And again, I mean, I would say neem tea is maybe the most basic, simplest thing that you can do. So you don't like need to like do a really long 30-minute meditation every day, or keeping, doing like, you just need to do something like this. Drink a half cup of neem every day, and it'll really help balance the hormones. That's really what it's doing. It's balancing the hormones within you. But as you balance the hormones within you, you'll find that we naturally don't need to reside in the Muladhara chakra, the lower energy centers. You'll notice that as the hormones are flowing through the body properly, you'll start to live more towards a heart-centered lifestyle and an intuitive lifestyle. So I really, really recommend neem tea for those that are struggling with nofap or just want some support with that. So I know I've been talking a lot about, oh man, it's already 56 minutes. Been flying through. I'll try and look at some of these questions and we'll kind of bounce around. Just the one that jumped out right away is Utpal. Have you tried liquid meals like Huel and Soylent? I looked into those, but man, they're not organic. What I do is I try and right now, I've been reaching out to some companies that are interested in doing a sponsorship, because if I'm going to live just off liquids alone, it'd be cool to, know a system that I can follow and transition towards, and find a company that would be willing to support me in that. But Huel and Soylent are not organic. And so I looked into those 100%, and I really do want to find a company like that. But they're not organic. Maybe if somebody does know of a company that is like those, I would really appreciate you letting me know. So yeah, no to the Huel and no to the Soylent. Shula, I wanted to acknowledge she started Nirahara again with the 100th batch. Woo! That's awesome. Awesome, Shula. Congratulations. What day is it today? Is it the second? Yeah, today's the second here on the West. So, I mean, maybe you could jump in and skip or extend one more day. It won't be too late. Go to go to befoodfree.org, and you guys can join in with Shula and I'm sure a whole bunch of other people practicing this Nirahara Samyama, this liquid only lifestyle. I can say from my experience, like, my body is so on point, it's not even funny. I feel like it's awesome. At first, it was tough for me to transition. I'm going to do a video specifically on this to talk and really make sure I get everything out that I want to. But at first, it was a difficult transition when I started to start training again, because I mean, I'm on day 126 and I'm doing yoga every day. I'm going to the gym about every other day or so, lifting heavy weights. And so it's been a really interesting journey for me, and nothing but positive things. So congratulations, Shula. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Raku, your insights for best contact point area in Sirsasana headstand. Well, yeah. So with Sirsasana, I'll be honest. The reason why I do it the way I do it is because my juttas are on my head at a certain point. Okay, so ideally it's right on top of the crown center. You'll find a balance point. You really, it's the point where you can do Sirsasana without hands. So you just do a headstand. Wherever you can find that point of balance, look at my hair now. Wherever you can find that point of balance, that is the point where you should be aligning. Okay. The only reason why I am slightly off that is because of my juttas. And in the moment, sometimes I take down my hair and I'll practice Sirsasana on that correct spot. But during the PVK, it's slightly like already on that spot. It makes it a little bit challenging. And during the Pratama Vinyasa Krama, if you know, it's a little bit difficult to like you don't have a ton of time in between each asana, right? But if you are practicing working on Sirsasana on your own, what I do is I take my hair down, and the point where you want to balance particularly is where you can find that perfect balance where you're working towards not going without hands. I'm not able to do it, and I'm actually not practicing that specifically myself right now, but that is how you would want to move forward in learning that. So that was a really good question, Raku. Yes, Nikki. One asked me the other day how I know that my guru is real and that it's not my own delusion. Great question, really. The answer is Shastra. Yes, the great acid test, which verifies the true guru. For anybody that questions Swamiji, they have every right to. They have absolutely every right to. For instance, why does he sit on a golden throne? Here's a good one. Give me 1 second. Why does Swamiji wear jewels on his hands? If you've seen recently, he's got a bunch of rings on his fingers. Here's an exact Shastra Pramana from, I think this one's from Shiva Samhita, and this is verse, verse 15 to 29. Get this. So why does Nithyananda wear all this golden jewelry? There you go. Shastra Pramana. It is advisable to use the true Rudraksham with gold and jewel. With gold and jewel on the head, neck, or one's hand. Okay. Later on in verse 30, it says, give me 1 second. Anybody holds Rudraksha together with pearls, Prabala crystal, silver, gold, and gem, he becomes a manifestation of Shiva. Okay, so Shastra Pramana means this is coming from Shiva, and it's been passed down from lineage through the sacred lineage, from master to disciple, initially verbally, but then it was written down on paper sometime and these vary, they all vary, but let's say roughly, we could even say as a rule of thumb, around 10th century. Okay, so even from 10th century, these scriptures are key components, the backbones of Hinduism, and they're known as Shastra Pramanas because these are what the rishis, the ancient sages, wrote down, and they're saying that they're not the authors, that Shiva showed them these. Rishis is one that is a seer, is one that sees through the Akasha. Shiva showed them what the scripture was, and they wrote it down. Okay, so even if they did make this up, they were enlightened beings, and everybody that knew these rishis understood them. And even if you read their writings, they come from higher states of consciousness that you couldn't possibly grasp truly unless you're really meditating on them quite a bit. And if you have ever read one Upanishad line, you'll understand that. But so this Shastra Pramana talks about why exactly Swamiji wears gold with Rudraksha and jewels and pearls and where was it? There was another line, gems. Okay. He doesn't do it because he's showing off and he's like very egoistic. There's pramana for everything that he does. Everything. Whether it's the time that the deities are woken in the temple, whether it's the exact way that we perform puja, it's everything. It's the way he sits, the way he faces, the direction he faces is north, because that's the way the guru is supposed to sit. Everything is aligned to pramana. That is one reason why he's a real guru, because he only does what gurus are supposed to do. But not only that, he's giving all these incredible experiences to people. So many incredible experiences to people, myself included. He's awakened massive amounts of kundalinis and third eyes. But I just really wanted to emphasize that. And yeah, Sri Ram also mentioned like gold amplifies prana vibration. There's a lot of different science as well that goes with this. Specifically though, like just from a scripture standpoint, he's completely aligned. We all know that gold is obviously the best metal for various reasons on planet Earth. But it is a way of, like, we shower our deities with gold as well. So there's a lot of different benefits to that. But Sri Ram also said the Guru Gita. If you guys are following me on Facebook or YouTube, I've been posting the Guru Gita quotes every day. It's incredible to see what Lord Shiva is saying, that you could really do, like he even said the other day, and I did a video on this, like he's saying, why even bother performing Kriya Yoga when you can just listen to your guru? So ultimately, guru is God, and it's repeated again and again in the Guru Gita. Srinivas started third Nirahara 21-day cycle. I'd love to hear about your recipes. Awesome. I'm going to do a video on this soon. It's just doing nice videos these days. If you guys watch YouTube videos, like, people do a really nice job, and you got to know some good editing skills and make it interesting. And it is a little bit time consuming. So that's the only delay on why I haven't posted my liquid diet video yet. I do appreciate your guys' time, and I'll get to it, I promise. Okay, so I'm seeing 2 questions as well on nofap. This is the last question. I'm sorry, guys. I have to keep drinking because my throat is getting so dry. I don't normally talk this much. But so I'll make this as the last question on, does nofap have any connection with muscle building? The answer is 100%. Think of, so bindu, or semen is life energy. It can literally give life. You can make a baby out of putting your semen into another body if you're a male, right? So with the retention of that, you're keeping life energy within you from a physical standpoint, right? We can understand that. We can cognize that. But unless you use that life energy through creation, so you're practicing nofap, that's awesome. But what you need to understand is that now you got more energy than you normally do. And so the tendency is to get this kind of build up, and you just feel like you need a sexual release. It's not a sexual release that you need. It's a creativity release that you need. You need to take that energy and move towards something else in your life to create. That is ultimately why we're here. We're here to create. We're creators. I've said create a lot, but we are creators. Life energy, maintaining life energy within you is just the first step. The second step is to use that. Okay? Use that in any way that you want. Obviously, you would hope that you do that in a ahimsa way, a way of advaita, oneness, to enrich others. But that's a force of energy that you should just take with you and run with it and create. Okay? So if you're struggling with maintaining it, somebody's saying after 20 days or so, totally get that. It's because your body, you're literally, your memory in you is thinking it's time to release this energy. It is time to release the energy, but in a different way. Release it through creativity. Okay? I hope that helps. So with that, I'll end this Q&A here. We went over an hour and about almost 10 minutes today. I really appreciate everybody that came in today. Let me just see if there's anybody's like really yelling at me and upset that I didn't get to a specific question. It doesn't seem like that so far. Again, I'll take a look through all the questions. And if you guys want as well, I'm thinking about doing some Q&As on Instagram too, because I could do a more rapid fire there. But I do tend to get a lot of similar questions, so I try and bunch those together. So with that being said, I really do appreciate you guys being here. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do so. I really would appreciate that. It means a lot to me. I feel like I do bring good value, and I'm only here to enrich you in any way. And I'm really active in the comment section. So if you have questions for me in any way, please let me know and I'll get to those. If you do subscribe, hit the bell icon too, because you won't get notified when I release a video. My wife and I also have another channel together. It's called The Anandas. And we're doing live podcasts there starting tomorrow as well. And so don't miss out on those. We're talking everything yoga, and we do talk about some personal things if you're interested more in a relationship look towards Hinduism. And yeah, so we're trying to be really transparent there too. If you guys are interested in anything else regarding the weight training, just maybe let me know in the comment section. You guys can also send me a direct message on Facebook. I'm a little bit slower responding there. I'll try and pick it up, but just I appreciate your patience on that one. So with that, I'll end this session with the Purna Mantra. And yeah, if you guys haven't been joining in on the evening Vakyartha Sadhasas we've been doing, the spiritual discussions we've had based off of my guru's discourses, they've been really fun to do. And so we're doing that every evening, and do join in on those and just take 10 minutes. If you're somebody that's meditating, or maybe you want to learn more about scriptures, or you're wanting to contemplate some deep spiritual truths, we go for an hour, but all you really need to do is just sit in with us for 10 minutes. And it's just a group of spiritual beings discussing deep spiritual truths and trying to cognize and understand and grasp what this place is really and who we really are. And so it's been fun to do those with some fellow disciples, and I really do recommend it if you're a true spiritual seeker. Maybe you want to learn more about Hinduism, or just contemplate the depths of our reality. I recommend it. So with that, I will end this session. Thank you again for tuning in, everybody. And I really do appreciate your time. It means a lot to me, and I'm glad I can impact you in whatever way that I have. So I appreciate you. With that, I'll close with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Bhagavat Sri Nithyananda Paramashiva Paduka Paramastu. Om Nithyanandam. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you guys in future videos. Be blissful, Nithyananda. And hit the gym.